Afternoon, welcome to part 3 of my Malvern Hills Trust, Malvern Hills Fiasco videos. I've had an email. It's not addressed to me. This is an email that has been circulated amongst the trustees of the Malvern Hills Trust from Deborah Fox, who's the Chief Executive Officer. Now, after my 2 videos about the Malvern Hills, I've been nothing but nice to the Malvern Hills Trust team because I've got no need to be anything but nice, really. The whole point of having a YouTube channel is that you can be transparent and you can put out unedited videos which allow people to get messages across to a large audience without any editing or bias. And that's what I've done so far. My initial chat with, I think she was called Deborah, tail end of last year, and then my chat last week with the councillor Paul. And on the back of those 2 videos, I mean, they've done some views, you know, they've probably had 60,000 views between them. And the locals are seeing the videos and going, hang on a minute, we didn't know any of this was going on. So I emailed Malvern Hills Trust asking if someone who is for the new private bill would like to come and make a video, unedited, you know, totally transparent. I've had 2 people on the channel who oppose the Malvern Hills private bill. And it would be nice to balance things out and have someone come and sit in my passenger seat and talk to me about all the reasons that myself and Paul and the other Deborah are actually wrong about the private bill that's going through, and that it isn't a land grab and it isn't about making money and it isn't about homes and solar panels. I just want someone to come and sit in that chair and explain to me why it's a good thing for the Malvern Hills and for the local people of the Malvern Hills. That's it. I'm not trying to start any riots. I'm not trying to start any fires. I'm not trying to threaten or intimidate anyone or anything like that. I'm just doing what I always do, which is sitting in my car and talking about things. But I've had this email forwarded to me. This was sent from Deborah Fox, who's the Chief Executive Officer of the Malvern Hills Trust, who emailed me just the other day saying that nobody would be talking to me. So they haven't got anyone who's willing to talk about the pros of this private bill that's going through, not one person. But this has now gone out to all of the trustees. Dear trustee, I want to inform you that there is a Geoff Buys Cars YouTube video in circulation that involves one of our trustees. The material was published by vlogger Geoff Buys Cars on the 16th of April 2025. A transcript of the conversation is attached for your reference, and that is an AI generated transcript of the video, which includes things like spelling Malvern wrong. So it's nice that they've bothered to do that. The vlogger, who is based in Powick, Worcestershire, is now emailing the trust offices, asking for a comment. I emailed Deborah and I said, look, the second video's out now. Is there anybody now at this stage who wants to come and have a chat? And I'm quite happy to post up all of my emails that I've sent to Deborah and to the trust so that you can see that there's nothing threatening in any of them and there's no malice at all. But it seems that they really do not want to talk about the private bill and the way the hills are going to be restructured. Deborah carries on. A vlogger isn't regulated in the same way as a journalist, and they could turn up on home doorsteps, etc., wanting you to speak with them. Can't journalists do that? Journalists should be doing that, but journalists don't really do any journalism anymore, do they? Which is why this hasn't had much coverage. So basically, Deborah's saying that I might turn up on the doorstep of one of the trustees. Do you think I'm a doorstepper? I mean, you've been watching my channel for a little while. Am I the sort of person that's going to turn up at your house and shove a camera in your face? Or am I more likely to do a nice, calm public invite and invite you to come and sit with me in the car to discuss a subject? As I said, I've already done that with the Malvern Hills Trust. Nobody, she continues, is authorised to speak on behalf of the trust with this individual, who also goes by the name Geoff Thompson. If approached, your only reply is no comment. May we also remind all trustees that in Section 14 of the Code of Conduct, Section 14 of the Code of Conduct requires you, in advance of making any public comment in relation to the trust, to contact the CEO in order to ensure that the comment you propose to make is factually correct and in line with the trust's policy. So nobody is allowed to speak at the trust, about the trust, without first running it by Deborah, who's the Chief Executive Officer. Deborah, as you know from the emails that I've sent to you, there is an open invite for you to come and sit in the car with me and discuss what is going on with the private bill. Open invite, absolutely. I'll even provide tea and cakes, coffee if you wish. Let me know your favourite biscuit and I will provide them. Do I sound like a terrorist? Maybe that's how the terrorists get you. They offer you cake and biscuits. This applies equally to this situation and letters to local papers, and we thank you very much for upholding this principle. So letters to local papers, it's not just me that's kicking up a stink about this bill, because the local papers have actually started to catch wind of this. In the video, there are references to the trust being like the mafia and going out to a garden centre to buy pitchforks and torches. The latter is a visual idiom of an angry mob. Well, it was a reference, yes, okay. So we said that the trust was being like the mafia. We didn't say they were the mafia. We said they were acting in a way that was according with the way that the mafia may actually act. And sending a cease and desist letter and threatening the police and reporting me for terrorism is in line with what we said. So nice one, Deborah. You have confirmed that your heavy-handed tactics do indeed make you look like the mafia. The latter is a visual idiom of an angry mob. Deborah is clearly concerned that there will be an angry mob, which there would be, probably, most likely, allegedly, just covering my back there, if the locals actually fully understood what the private bill was trying to do, allegedly. Whilst the target of such a mob isn't specified by name, no, because no mob was specified. We didn't call for there to be a mob. We were simply referencing a scene in The Simpsons where the locals get pitchforks and torches and never actually achieve anything. So no, we weren't calling for there to be a mob of angry people with pitchforks. Whilst the target of such a mob isn't specified by name, by implication from the conversation, it might be local councillors and especially Green Party councillors on the Trust board or potentially staff of the Trust. Now go back to the video, watch it again and tell me at which point I request an angry mob to go and besiege councillors at their houses. And if you can find that section in the video, do email me and then I'll issue a public apology for what I said. But that's not what I said, was it? And they know full well. What they're trying to do is silence me on this subject completely and silence any of the trustees from speaking out, which could be construed as bullying, maybe. Is this email bullying any of the trustees? If any of the trustees had concerns at this stage with the public bill, well, they certainly won't be speaking out about it now after this email from Deborah. This is the bit where it gets good. The safeguarding of our trustees and staff is incredibly important. Please be extra vigilant and report any suspicious behaviour or contact made relating to this video to the Trust office. Thank you. If your address is in the public domain, you might want to consider changing that. She's telling people to move house. No, she's not. She's not telling people to move house because of the threat of a man that invited the chief executive officer of the Malvern Hills Trust into a car to share biscuits. This man might doorstep you. He might turn up at your door with custard creams, and you wouldn't want that. So be extra vigilant, and if your address is in the public realm, then remove it. Can I just clarify, if I haven't already clarified this, I'm not turning up at anybody's house with custard creams or otherwise. And Deborah, you know this as well. Please be extra vigilant and report any suspicious behaviour or contact made relating to the video to the Trust office. Thank you. I'd like to report some suspicious behaviour. I'd like to report the suspicious behaviour that's going on at the Malvern Hills Trust and the fact that this is what they're doing. If your address is in the public domain, consider changing it. If you want us to take any further action on your behalf, please let us know, e.g. by updating your trustee consent form via the secretary to the board. Thank you. We have reported the video to the police and counter-terrorism unit and local fire and rescue services, given the reference to pitchforks and torches, as well as personal concerns. There would be catastrophic consequences on the hills and commons if the call to action is taken literally by people watching the video. Deborah, I think your email is a better call to action than mine ever was. You've gone further in encouraging people to go out and do these things than I actually did. We just hinted at a scene from The Simpsons, but you've actually gone all out. And what you're basically implying through this, Deborah, is if the public realise what's going on with the private bill, then you could be facing pitchforks and torches. Crikey, I didn't imply that at all. But what your email to the trustees has done is confirmed that there is something nefarious going on at Malvern Hills Trust and nobody wants to talk about it. Again, seat in my car, airtime on my channel, and custard creams or other biscuits are available for anybody that wants to come forward and explain to the people of Malvern and Worcestershire why the private bill is a good idea and the benefits that it will bring to them, their livelihoods and the economy. That's my open invite. I look forward to a knock on the door from counter-terrorism. Maybe I'll give them some custard creams as well. Do you think they like bourbons more? If you work in counter-terrorism and you're one of these people that storms people's houses and knocks on the door for social media posts, I welcome you to my car to discuss your favourite type of biscuits. What do people who carry guns and enforce the law on behalf of the government prefer to have with their tea? All of this and more will be revealed in part 4. Well, let me know what you think in the comments. Deborah, come on. All you had to do was say, yeah, no worries, Geoff. Let me put you in touch with the PR company that we've recruited at the taxpayer's expense, and they'll sit you down and explain everything about the private bill. In fact, here's a copy of the private bill. Why don't you read it? That would be great. Here's a press release from the PR company that we've recruited at the taxpayer's expense with the money that we take out of the council tax, which is forced out of people because it's a precept that they don't have any option to pay. And we believe that you're right, Geoff, in exposing what's going on in the private bill. And we do want everybody to know what the private bill is all about. So thank you for bringing attention to it. I'd love to correct you on where you're wrong. Here is a statement from me, Deborah Fox, Chief Executive Officer of the Trust. And please do speak to our PR department about this. That's a text from someone locally. Let's see what it says. No, BMW bursts into flames at Asda car park. Watch as firefighters tackle the blaze. I guess we'll get back to normal service later in the week. Thanks for watching.